So let me go through this final question here. Okay, so this one's asking you to write the equation that represents the height of a rider on a Ferris wheel. Okay, and so we need to look at two different sketches or two different graphs for this. Okay, one is the graph of the Ferris wheel itself, and the other one would be the graph that just indicates its height of the rider or passenger. Okay, so if I look at the Ferris wheel itself, okay, so it says if a rider boards the platform 1 meter above the ground. So if this is 1, that means that the Ferris wheel is going to sit somewhere like this, right, off the ground, okay, where this is its center. Okay, and I know that this distance from here to here is 1 unit. Well, if the diameter of this, if the total diameter of this Ferris wheel is 144, what does that mean the radius is going to be? The radius is half of that, or 72. Okay, and so if I look at this, the midline is going to be located at what? The radius of 72 plus the height off the ground it started at, which is 73 here. Okay, so there's my midline. So when I'm looking at what the different values are, so now I'm looking at the sketch of my height. Okay, so the height here, I know that my midline is 73. Okay, my height starts out at the beginning at 1. Okay, and what I need to do is I need to find out what 1 full period is for this rotation. Okay, and so when I complete 1 full rotation, and now this is in time, okay, not in angles or degrees, but I know that 1 full period is 2 pi divided by the absolute value of b, and I know that that rotation is going to occur in what amount of time? So 30 minutes. Okay, so if I were to solve for b, I would cross multiply both sides by b, however you want to think of it, and then divide by 30. So my b value is going to be 2 pi over 30, which reduces to pi over 15. So there is my b value. And do you remember what b represents? It's the multiplier in front of, inside the function in front of my x, right? So when I look at this, I'm going to have my equation, because its height as a function of t is equal to, as I complete 1 full rotation here, I'm going to notice that my graph is going to look like this. Here's 1 full rotation, and that's going to be pi over 15. So when I look at what I have here, I know that my graph is of what? Sine or cosine? Because it starts in this manner, it's going to be a cosine. Is it positive or negative? So it's going to be a negative cosine, and my number in front of the cosine needs to be my amplitude. Well, if my midline is at 73, what is my amplitude from here to here? So not half of 73, but it's 72, right? So this is 72. So the number in front of my cosine is going to have to be what for my function? And it's a negative, right? It starts at the minimum. So it's negative 72 cosine of, there's no shifting inside, so it's just going to be my b value, pi over 15 times x. And then what is my vertical shift? My midline, which is plus 73. Okay, and so that would be my final answer for that problem. Okay, again, h of t is equal to my amplitude, and the negative indicates my cosine starts at the minimum. My function is cosine. There's no shift, so my b value based on the period is pi over 15x, and then my midline is at 73, and so that is my final solution.